Why does anything exist at all? Why is there something rather than nothing? Imagine sitting under a starry sky, the air cool and still, as a question creeps into your mind. Why is all this here? The trees rustling, the stars twinkling, your own breath. Why does any of it exist instead of just nothing? It's a question so big it feels like it could swallow you whole, yet so simple it's almost childlike. Philosophers call it the ultimate why, the question of why there is something rather than nothing. It's not about how the universe began or what it's made of, but why there's anything at all, why existence itself exists. For centuries, thinkers, scientists, and believers have wrestled with this riddle. It's a question that bridges dusty philosophy books and cutting-edge physics labs, quiet prayers and late-night wonderings. In this exploration, we'll journey through the ideas that try to answer it, or at least make peace with it. From ancient musings to modern theories, from God to quantum quirks, let's dive into the mystery of existence itself. Buckle up. This is going to be a long, winding, and wondrous ride. The question that won't let go. Puzzle older than time. The question, why is there something rather than nothing, isn't new. It's been buzzing in human heads since we started looking up at the sky and wondering what it all means. One of the first to write it down was the philosopher Gottfried Wilhelm Leibniz in 1714, in his essay The Principles of Nature and Grace. He asked, why is there something rather than nothing? For nothing is simpler and easier than something. Leibniz thought nothing should be the default, empty, blank, zero. So why isn't it? Think about it like this. Imagine a blank canvas. It's easy to leave it empty, no paint, no effort. But if you see a painting on it, say, a swirling galaxy or a blooming flower, you'd wonder, who put that there? Why? Existence feels like that painting. Nothingness seems simpler, less messy. Yet here we are, surrounded by something. Planets, people, protons. Why? Leibniz's question wasn't the first whisper of this idea. Ancient thinkers like Parmenides in Greece mused about being versus non-being around 500 BCE. In India, the Upanishads, circa 800 BCE, pondered the void before creation. Across cultures, humans have stared into the abyss of nothing and asked why something won out. It's a question that sticks because it's not just about stars or atoms. It's about us. Why are we here to even ask? Leibniz and the sufficient reason. Leibniz didn't just pose the question, he tried to answer it. He leaned on his principle of sufficient reason, which says everything must have a reason or cause. For Leibniz, the universe couldn't just be without explanation. He argued there's a necessary being, a reason so solid it doesn't need another reason. That being? God. To Leibniz, God is the ultimate why, the self-existent source that tips the scales from nothing to something. God doesn't just exist. God has to exist like 1 + 1 has to equal 2. Without God, Leibniz thought we'd be stuck with nothing. Picture it like a cosmic light switch. Nothing is off, dark, empty. Something is on, bright, buzzing. Leibniz said God's the one who flipped the switch, not because God felt like it, but because God's existence is baked into the logic of reality. It's a tidy answer, but not everyone bought it. Why does God get a free pass? Couldn't the universe itself be the necessary thing? Heidegger's existential twist. Fast forward to the 20th century, and Martin Heidegger took the question to a darker, moodier place. In his 1929 lecture, What is Metaphysics? He called it the fundamental question of metaphysics. For Heidegger, it's not just a puzzle. It's a gut punch. He wrote, why are there beings at all instead of nothing? And said it's the deepest, most far-reaching question we can ask. Unlike Leibniz's logical approach, Heidegger made it personal. It's not about finding a neat answer. It's about feeling the weight of existence. Heidegger imagined nothing as a real presence, an eerie void we bump into when we're anxious or awestruck. Think of standing at the edge of a cliff, heart racing, staring into the drop. That shiver? It's the brush of nothing against something. For Heidegger, the question isn't solved. It's lived. It's why we marvel at a sunset or tremble at death. But does that get us closer to why? Maybe not. It's more about soaking in the mystery than cracking it. The theological answer, a divine spark. For many, the why of existence points straight to God. It's the oldest and most popular answer. In Christianity, Genesis 1 verse 1 says, "In the beginning, God created the heavens and the earth. No fuss, no muss. God's the reason there's something." Islam echoes this in the Quran, Surah 21:30, describing God as the originator of all. Hinduism's Rigveda, circa 1200 BCE, sings of a cosmic breath, a divine will birthing the world from chaos or void. The argument often goes like this: everything we see, trees, stars, you needs a cause. Chain those causes back far enough and you hit a wall. Something uncaused, something eternal. Theologians call it the first cause or unmoved mover. Thanks, Aristotle. God fits the bill, a being outside time and space, willing existence into being. It's like a storyteller spinning a tale from a blank page. Without the storyteller, there's no story. But here's the rub: why God? Why not skip the middleman and say the universe itself is eternal? Critics like Bertrand Russell argued, if everything needs a cause, what caused God? Believers counter, God doesn't need a cause. God just is. It's a leap of faith, not a proof. For some, it's a cozy blanket of meaning. For others, it's a dodge that raises more questions. The Big Bang, a how, not a why. Enter science, stage left. Around 13.8 billion years ago, the Big Bang kicked off our universe, space, time, matter, all bursting from a single point. It's a stunning how story. A hot, dense speck expanded into galaxies, stars, and us. But does it answer why? Not really. The Big Bang tells us when something started, not why there was a speck to start with. Cosmologists like Stephen Hawking wrestled with this. In A Brief History of Time, he suggested the universe might be a closed loop, no beginning, no end, no need for a why. Imagine a balloon. It has a surface but no edge. Time and space might curve like that, dodging the need for a first push. Yet even Hawking admitted this doesn't fully satisfy. Why a balloon at all? Why not no balloon? Quantum weirdness. Something from nothing? Zoom into the subatomic world, and things get weirder. Quantum physics says particles pop in and out of existence in empty space, virtual particles, flickering like fireflies. Physicist Lawrence Krauss, in A Universe from Nothing, argues this hints at how something could emerge from nothing. Empty space isn't truly empty. It's a bubbling stew of energy. Given enough time or no time at all, that stew might cook up a universe. It's a mind-bender. Nothing isn't nothing. It's something waiting to happen. Krauss says physical laws alone could spark existence, no God or magic needed. But philosophers cry foul. Is quantum nothing really nothing? Is still a stage, energy, laws, potential. True nothing is no stage, no actors, no play. Krauss gives us a how, not a why. Nothing versus something. What's easier? Back to Leibniz's hunch. Nothing seems simpler. No mess, no rules, just blankness. So why isn't that the case? Some argue nothing is impossible. Philosopher Bede Rundle said absolute nothing. No space, no time, no laws, can't be. If it could, it'd be something, a state, a condition. Existence might be inevitable because nothing is a paradox. It cancels itself out. Think of it like silence. You can't hear silence without sound to compare it to. Nothing might need something to even make sense. Physicist Frank Wilczek adds a twist. Maybe something is more stable. Empty space fizzes with quantum energy it wants to bubble into being. Nothingness might be too fragile to hold. But this flips the script. If something is easier, why do we assume nothing is the baseline? It's a tug of war. Nothing feels intuitive, but something keeps winning. History's echoes, ancient minds, modern shadows. This isn't just a modern obsession. The Greek philosopher Parmenides, 5th century BCE, said, "What is. What is not, cannot be. Existence is all there is, nothingness isn't even thinkable." In India, the Nasadiya Sukta, Rigveda 10:129, paints a poetic picture. Before creation, there was neither being nor non-being, just a void wondering itself awake. These old voices show the question's roots run deep. Medieval thinkers like Aquinas built on this, tying existence to God's will. The Enlightenment flipped it. Science started chasing how over why. Today we're split. Some lean on faith, others on physics, and many just shrug. History doesn't solve it, it mirrors our endless curiosity. The emotional weight, why it hits us hard. This question isn't dry theory, it's personal. When you ask, "Why am I here?" you're touching the same thread. Heidegger nailed it. The why of existence stirs awe and dread. Look at a starry night and feel small. That's the question whispering. Lose someone you love, and the void looms large. Why this, not nothing? Psychologically, we crave meaning. Something gives us a stage to act on. Nothing yanks it away. The question forces us to face both. The gift of being and the shadow of not being. It's why we tell stories, build rockets, pray, anything to wrestle with the why. No answer, just wonder, making peace with the mystery. So why does anything exist? God? Physics? Logic? Maybe it's all three or none. Leibniz's God is comforting but unprovable. Quantum phys is clever but sidesteps the core. Philosophy circles it without landing. Here's the kicker, we might never know. And that's okay. Picture a kid asking, "Why's the sky blue?" You can say light scatters. But the why behind light itself? It fades into mystery. Existence might be like that, a gift, a puzzle, a fluke. Some call it God's breath, others a cosmic hiccup. What matters isn't the answer, it's the asking. That's why we're here, staring at the stars, typing these words. Why do you think there's something rather than nothing?